Welcome to this presentation about the Hudson River Fish Advisory, Keeping Your Family Healthy. I'm Diane Witten, Nutrition Educator from Cornell Cooperative Extension of Saratoga County. We have a Hudson River Fish Advisory Outreach Project grant funded by the New York State Department of Health. Our goal is to educate people who eat fish from the Hudson River so they know and follow the Department of Health advice. Fishing is a wonderful individual or family activity that gets people into the great outdoors. Fishing is a self-sufficiency skill that can help you feed your family. Fish makes a healthy family meal that's quick to cook. Fish is high in protein, fish provides heart-healthy fats, and of course, fish tastes great. Unfortunately, New York's Great Hudson River is polluted with PCB chemicals from a manufacturing plant in Hudson Falls. A 192-mile section of the river from Hudson Falls to New York City contains PCBs at varying levels, with the highest amount being near the original source of pollution in Hudson Falls to the federal dam at Troy. For 30 years, the Hudson River was polluted with PCBs. PCB is an abbreviation for polychlorinated biphenyls, a waste product of manufacturing done along the Hudson River. PCBs were released into the river from the 1940s to the 1970s. PCBs accumulate in fat tissue of fish. Fish can have thousands of times more PCBs than the surrounding water. The level of PCBs in some fish can be harmful to your and your family's health. You cannot see the PCB chemicals, you cannot smell the chemicals, and you cannot taste the chemicals. Since you can't see, smell, or taste the PCBs present in fish, a fisherman can't tell if a fish that was caught has high levels of PCBs in it. Samples of fish from different locations in the Hudson River have been analyzed in laboratories to measure PCB levels. The Department of Health uses this data to establish health advisories. The New York State Department of Health has health advice about eating fish you catch in the Hudson River, depending on where you fish, what you catch, and who you are. Because the amount of PCBs varies depending on where the fish was caught, the species of fish caught, plus PCBs affect the health of certain people more than others. Let's look at where you fish. The level of PCB pollution is highest between Hudson Falls, the original source of pollution, and the federal dam at Troy. No one should eat any fish caught in the upper Hudson section between Hudson Falls and Troy. In fact, DEC regulations designate this area as catch and release only. No fish should be taken from this section of the river. In fact, an individual can be fined if they do so. Fish caught south of Troy have less PCBs. South of Catskill, the PCB levels are even lower. The advice varies depending on the specific section of the river where fish are caught. Now let's look at how who you are determines the advice you should follow. Women under 50 in their childbearing years and children under 15 should eat no fish from the 192-mile section of the Hudson River from Hudson Falls to New York City. While there are no immediate health effects, PCBs can affect the health of children as they are developing, possibly leading to learning disabilities or cancer. PCBs accumulate in human fat tissue, so it builds up and persists in the body. South of Troy, boys over 15 and men can eat some fish they catch. Again, the advice varies depending on the specific section of the river where fish are caught. Here's an example of how what you catch affects the advisory. Between Troy and Catskill, some fish can be eaten up to once a month, including alewife, rock bass, blueback herring, and yellow perch. Other fish have higher PCB levels. Due to the relative fat content of different species of fish, they can accumulate different amounts of PCBs. Fattier fish such as striped bass and catfish have higher levels of PCBs, especially those caught between the Troy Dam and Catskill. So the Department of Health advice is do not eat other fish not listed here, including striped bass. South of Catskill, more species of fish can be eaten once a month, including the most popular eating fish, striped bass. as indicated in this section of the Department of Health advisory brochure. However, the advice is still do not eat white catfish, channel catfish, American eel, or gizzard shad. All other species can be eaten up to 4 times a month by men and boys over 15. Still, remember that younger boys, children, and women of childbearing age should eat no fish from this section of the river. Now that you've caught your fish, you're going to want to cook that fish from the Hudson River. You can cut PCBs in half with proper preparation and cooking. Since the PCBs accumulate in fat tissue, begin by removing the skin. Then remove the fat from the back, side, and belly of the fish, and cook so fat drips off. You can do this by grilling, broiling, or baking fish on a rack so the fat drips off. Avoid pan frying or stewing. We know you want to keep your family healthy. Fish can be part of a healthy, delicious meal if the fish are safe to eat and prepared in a healthy way. You can learn more online at health.ny.gov/fish. These brochures, available at the New York State Department of Health website, detail the health advisories. The brochure on the right includes a list of clean public access water bodies in the Hudson Valley where you can fish so the whole family can enjoy the meal. You can also access these brochures at the Cornell Cooperative Extension Saratoga County website, ccesaratoga.org, or contact me, Diane Witten, directly by email, dwitten@cornell.edu. Thank you for viewing this presentation.